So the NBA recently just put out their top 15 greatest coaches list for their NBA 75 years. I don't know if any of you heard it. You was like to hear it real quick. So we got in no order. This is from the NBA. This is not a random poll by ESPN or Bleacher Report or anything like that. Red Auerbach, Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Red Holzman, Phil Jackson, Casey Jones, Steve Kerr, Don Nelson, Greg Popovich, Jack Ramsey, Pat Riley, Doc Rivers, Jerry Sloan, Eric Spoelstra, and Lenny Wilkins.
A lot of good names on that list.
Surely. And of course, the one everybody is questioning right now is Doc Rivers because of track record, losing multiple 3-1 leads. A lot of people say that 08 champion the Celtics kind of carries them or whatever. But all in all, Doc Rivers hasn't really been a bad coach, honestly. He has had a period of time when he was a coach. He's always coached for what he had. Boston gave him a great set of pieces that 1 year, and they were able. Boston did what y'all want super teams to do, and y'all like say they have to do. They won a championship in their first year, so regardless if that's the only one he has, I don't think we should hold like Doc is a good coach. Like,
well, Doc is a good coach, and
Black History Month, y'all quit out playing.
But if it was just about championships, Jerry Sloan wouldn't be on there. Larry Brown, because he only has one. Also,
Wilkins.
So. No, it's not just about the championship.
Does Lenny Wilkins have one?
No, not that. I could be wrong. I don't think he has one.
Well, he has the most wins.
He just had the most wins and the most losses at one point or whatever. But Doc has made an impact on the league. And he has some blemishes.
Nelson, he won no championship. That's head coach. Who you coach?
No, yeah, because Rick Carlisle was the coach. So exactly. So all in all, I think Doc has earned his spot on the list, and as a person that's definitely been hard on Doc over the years, because I've always acknowledged how before the Big Three, he was about to get fired in Boston, and they put it together, they clicked, they won a championship. They did what they were supposed to do. But it's really hard to even win one championship.
Absolutely.
So I think outside of just winning the one championship, I think Doc is also on there because of his respect in the coaching ranks overall. It's like him, Rick Carlisle, and Greg Popovich, as far as modern day coaches are all really respected amongst even coaches as far as like speaking out for other coaches and stuff like that. But I think Doc earned his spot.
All right, now I feel the same way. With that being said, John W.
Fresh X.
It's the Hoopers afternoon session, and the one I'm surprised people aren't a little more going in shock over is Steve Kerr, because I know people feel a certain way about Steve Kerr and his success as a head coach. I don't feel that way, but I know a lot of people do, saying he's only, because he's the only coach of Golden State, and they basically been a championship team since he's got there. People feel that he's not as good of a head coach, which is a disservice to what he's done. Helping that team achieve championships. Honestly,
yeah, he's went through his hate over the years from people who basically just act like he just got Mark Jackson's team. He did inherit a team with playoff pieces, but he took them to the next level. But, his offense and what he did in such a quick time in the NBA, because Steve Kerr hasn't even been coaching 10 years yet to this point, you got to acknowledge that he's one of the best coaches ever. And he helped build what they got at Golden State. So, yeah, Steve Kerr, I think he deserves to be in there also.
But shout out to all those head coaches that made that. And I know you was
definitely shout out Lenny Wilkins making that film.
I'm sure. But I don't know if it's like got to be more people like it's going to be the top 75 coaches as well. Like, because they didn't do coaches before. So, like, are they just going to stop at 15 or is there going to be more to the list?
Yeah, and I asked, like, they're going to add maybe some GMs or some president of basketball operations because it's the 75th anniversary. So it's like highlighting everybody. And I think it's some GMs and some that they can highlight. Like, they can talk about RC and San Antonio, Masai Ujiri. You can talk about Jerry Krause.
Jerry West.
Jerry West. So I think it's a couple of orchestrators who might deserve a little love in that. And it'll be interesting to see the people who maybe get talked about twice, because as far as that, Pat Riley would be on that list for me also.
True.
And I think he would deserve both, or even if it's like a player and a coach that make ball. I can't think of a player. Nah, no players. But
Bill Russell.
that's why I was kind of thinking of Bill Russell, but I don't think he would make it. So the closest example would probably be Pat Riley.
Not gonna be a player and coach.
It'll probably be Pat Riley because you got to acknowledge him as a coach and as a GM.
Jerry West.
Jerry West, he made the 75 player, and I think he would make. If they did a top 15 president GMs of all time, Jerry West would be on that list. So yeah, Jerry West is who I was trying to think of as a player. So yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, I had to pull the Mets jersey. I forgot Jelani is a Mets fan. How you a Mets fan?
Oh yeah,
I could never go with a champion. No, I'm just playing. But no, seriously, shout out to the NBA for recognizing those head coaches, because I think sometimes like people take head coaches for advantage. Like it's like, and you got the players already. Like you're supposed to get this done.
Yeah, like all the like the great coaches, of course, they win with great players, but it's all about managing the egos, how you keep the others involved and stuff like that. So, the head coaches definitely play a solid role in what the game is.
Not for sure. Before we continue talking about the NBA, you got a clip on your laptop from He Got Game. I want to talk about this. Real quick. Shout out to nothing but airtime on the Off the Ball Network. He does great stuff like this. But Jesus showed. So He Got Game. We all know He Got Game. Like I hope we all know He Got Game. Everybody that's watching this. But we know at the end it comes to a one-on-one game, father versus son.
Yep.
Father playing for his freedom, basically. Well, not basically, but he's playing for his freedom. Like his son signed a letter of intent to go to big state. Boom, he's out of jail. It's all scot-free. So, come down to it. Jake hit a couple buckets first. He hit a couple jump shots. Of course, he celebrates a bit because he's Jake Shuttlesworth. He still got it. He still beat his son and whatnot. You know, gets tired. He's an older man. You know, Jesus started using some of his athleticism, hitting a couple jump shots, crossover, start using his body. So, Jesus on game point. Jake's in the motherfucker. Of course, as you said, it's symbolism to the game when they were kids, when Jesus throws the ball.
Yep.
And, they're in the post, they're throwing balls. Jake throwing balls, Jesus throwing balls back up. Jesus Shuttlesworth, people, not Jesus Christ. But Jesus, they're throwing balls back to back. And then we all know what happens. Jesus kind of runs over Jake. Like this is the exclamation point. He dunks on him. Jake Shuttlesworth through that game. He flopped because he knew Jesus needed that win more. Just imagine this. And I know Jake was an older player. Jesus was not even in the prime of his life yet. Who not beating their son so they don't have to go back to jail?
Exactly, right?
Like he left the letter. Like he knew he wasn't gonna sign that. He didn't have to sign that letter. Like that, him winning that game was more important to Jake than Jake winning that game for his freedom. And I stand by that. Jake threw that game on that flop.
And I just watched He Got Game last week, and when I watched it again, watching it as an adult, I was like, man, yeah, Jake let him win that last game. He let him win. It was like his apology to him almost. And there you go.
Right. Jesus needed that more than Jake did. Right. I stand by that. I don't care who argues me down that. Jake threw that game with that flop.
Easily, for sure.
But back to the NBA. Dame Lillard says he's staying. He don't want out. He want to win one day.
But he actually said that.
I haven't seen him post. I don't feel like picking the phone back up. Yeah, he just in the interview said that. And of course, Portland's been pretty busy over the trade deadline. They traded C.J. McCollum to the New Orleans Pelicans for a plethora of players: Josh Hart, Nikhil Walker-Alexander, Eric Bledsoe, honestly being the standouts. And they traded Norman Powell to the Clippers, who I think provide the Clippers with some good, consistent wing scoring without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
Basically, yeah.
But Portland gets a defensive guard in Josh Hart. So I don't know if he stays. Maybe they have him in their plans for next year if Dame's committed to them for next year. You got a young guard in Anthony Simons, who seems to be a decent scorer. Like he's going to be able to shoot the ball at the minimum. There's reports of Portland going and maybe thinking about getting Jeremy Grant. I don't know if that's an ideal situation for him because he wants to be basically the main scoring option.
I mean, he'll be a top scoring option.
He wants to be the main scoring option.
He'll be a top scoring option.
You want to be the main scoring option.
Jeremiah Grant is not in position to call shots.
That's all. And then, of course, you have Nurkic, who maybe they flip him in the offseason and whatnot. But with Dame being committed, of course, he's injured. I don't know if he comes back this year or not. He probably does. But Dame comes back into the season next year healthy. that at least gives Portland that gives Portland a good starting place, right? Like they're gonna have some cap space. Maybe they can sign somebody or trade for somebody.
Dame on the roster means Portland's competing for the playoffs. You know that every year. Even this year, through the struggles, when Dame was there, they were in playing position. Yeah. Everyone's looking at Portland. It's funny when you see all these trades, you just gotta kind of think, what are they doing? What's gonna happen? What's next? And you assume with the deals that maybe they're gonna try to trade Dame.
Right.
I tweeted earlier and I deleted the tweet because I don't tweet, and I usually don't tweet and delete because I wanted to say it live on the show. Everybody wants Portland to trade Dame to get a player that could possibly become Dame. You don't just get that player that often. And Dame isn't, it's not like he's 40, he's not 35 or nothing like that. So he's still in his prime. So you got to look at why Portland is doing what they're doing. Everyone should stop just saying what they think they should do and look at what they did because you're not working for them. And try to analyze why they're doing what they're doing. They got off a lot of money because at the end of the day, yeah, they traded Gary Trent for Norman Powell. You thought he could help you. Now, you had CJ. CJ's in and out. He's hurt a lot. He's playing this year, but he's been hurt a lot. Dame's been hurt this year. So since it's not working and you know you have the centerpiece, why wouldn't you just say, because this season is kind of washed for them because, like you said, we don't know if Dame's coming back, right? So you probably thinking this season is kind of a wash. Why not get off of those long-term deals? If you got to lose throughout the season, they have their pick for this year. You get your first-round pick, and the best you could do is have leverage with picks, expiring contracts, and money to take on bigger deals. You know people aren't necessarily trying to sign with Portland.
Right.
So if you have the assets to make a trade, maybe that helps, in your pursuit of getting these other players, right. Whoever that player is, because they think that Dame is a centerpiece. So you build around it. Everyone bet Giannis to leave, and then they made the drastic trade for Drew Holiday with the picks and the assets that they had, and we like, is that going to work? And it works out in the end. So I think in the end they want to pair Dame with somebody because a chance of winning a championship once is worth more than all those assets. CJ has been hurt over the past couple of years. Right. Like he's always hurt. It just his injury was so bad this year. I thought he was gonna retire with the collapsed lung. Yeah. So like no disrespect, he's always hurt. So it doesn't work. So I'm not mad at Portland for wanting to reshape because you don't just get Dame. It's no guarantee none of these young players are gonna be Dame Lillard in this draft. I don't know who the top prospects are, but let's just say potentially. I know a lot of people like Jabari Smith, they like Chet, and they like Paolo. I know the top guys or whatever. Yeah. All those people kind of work into what Portland wants. So if you end up with a top 10 pick this year, you got a good chance of getting one of those players. So if you add one of them with Dame, and then whether you keep that player or you leverage that to get whoever this free agent is, that helps your team. So you don't just trade superstar players. And I'll end it with everyone wants players to demand trades when they lose enough. But then if Dame would have decided years ago just to leave, you would criticize him. You can't want Dame to demand a trade and then you still disrespect Kevin Durant championships. It's that simple. So I'm not mad at Portland for wanting. Dame wants to be there because he don't want to just get rid of his family. It's not just about loyalty. I hate that he even said to them that they run. Like, guys, he was just dissing everybody. It was a joke. It was funny at the time. Man, I'm so tired of seeing the burn from the grind quote. It's so corny to me at this point. Like, he's not staying there because he's just disloyal to the Portland Trailblazers. It's bigger than just that, man.
But seriously though, does it help? Does the trade help either team, Portland or New Orleans, or maybe help both?
It helps Portland because Portland's trying to share contracts, and now if you look at what I can't remember who tweeted it was, but they have all this money off the books now.
Also talking about buying out Eric Bledsoe.
Exactly. So they have money to make moves. Whether somebody want to come there or not, the least you could do is have the money to try to get them to come there. That's like step one. It doesn't matter if they're not coming there if you can't afford them. So that's a step in the right place. Right. And New Orleans, even though I think they'd be better if they had a point guard, New Orleans in the play-in position did want a veteran guard that could create, score, and possibly, if CJ's healthy, he can make some shots down the stretch and get them over in games. I think they still need a point guard, but he does help their pursuit of the play-in.
For sure.
I don't think he makes them better. He doesn't guarantee they're going to get in the play-in, but I can see why New Orleans, I've said a lot about maximizing Zion's prime, and getting in the play-in this year could just be step one to them trying to get a point guard for next year and really compete, because with Zion in and out, you want to maximize his prime. That's my quote forever about Zion. Maximize his prime or whatever. So it makes sense, but like me and shout out to Jelani, we was talking about the other day. I don't think it doesn't make either team better, but I get why. I guess Portland. I get why they both did what they did.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't knock my socks off either way.
Not for sure. Indiana Pacers in Sacramento.
Another
controversial trade. So Domantas Sabonis, Jeremy Lamb, and Justin Holiday are all going to Sacramento for Tyrese Halliburton, Buddy Hield, and Tristan Thompson, who I forgot was leaving in the NBA.
Right.
But of course, people is in uproar of the trade because they didn't want Sacramento to trade Tyrese Halliburton for anybody. I seen somebody say this is like acting like they traded Michael Jordan for Alex Lee. But yeah. And when I seen it, I seen how people reacted to it. The first thought came to my mind was like, when do we stop liking De'Aaron Fox? Because I feel like De'Aaron Fox at 24 already. At the minimum he provides you 24 and 6.
Yeah, 29 last night.
Right, he has been.
He's averaging 21 this year,
and he has been hurt this year, which kind of goes into some of that. But Domantas Sabonis, who you also traded for, is a two-time All-Star at 25. Despite how y'all feel about his numbers, he's been a good player so far. And
18 and 12 this year,
and you got throwing 5 assists in there. So I don't think it's like a bad move, honestly. Like,
see, shout out to us because we done talked about the Sacramento Kings for about 3 weeks in a row, almost.
That's what we do, man.
But I feel like they answered the question that we asked them. We asked a few weeks ago because we mentioned how they had drafted guards consecutively and Rashawn Holmes contract and stuff with the coaches and stuff like that. So we asked what direction were Sacramento trying to go in.
Right. And
shout out to 9290 Gang. I was listening to Travis Schlink, the Hawks GM, the other day, just talking about like with the play-in teams. More teams you could tell are trying to make an attempt and just giving up on the season. And they're like a game and a half out of the play-in. I think they chose an all-star player now that's more on. First of all, I think they chose De'Aaron Fox over Tyrese Halliburton.
First of all, Nick Andre said that as well.
Nick said that. I think they chose. They had all these guards, and you had to choose one. And in the time that De'Aaron Fox has been out, Halliburton has had his moments. I know everyone wants to go to his 38-point game, but we went to go watch him play live, and he didn't score 38 that game. That's all I'll say. But they kind of, I don't think they love what they saw of him with De'Aaron Fox out, because you saw it. Because I think they like Davion Mitchell. They know what he's going to bring. He play defense, and when he has good scoring nights, you just love it. But
he has been the starting point guard with De'Aaron Fox.
But he's also older than Harris. Not he a rookie, but he's older than Harris. He's an older player. He won a championship in college. So I don't think they necessarily just love what happened out there. They see that they can get an all-star. All-stars aren't necessarily signed in San Antonio. Sacramento. Sacramento. And also, he's kind of on De'Aaron's timeline. You would think Domantas was, because this is the second time he's been traded. You would think he's like 28. He's 25. And he's been an all-star twice. De'Aaron's 24. Davion's 23. We know Harrison Barnes like 29. It's been a back and forth about Buddy Hield for a minute, so none of us were surprised that he was gone. We figured it was going to happen sooner or later, but I just think that they made the decision after the Hoopers asked them what they try to do.
I feel like people listen to this and know that we have.
I think they made a decision to try for the play-in, and they tried.
I think we should be paid NBA consultants for a team.
Basically,
come talk to us and we'll tell you how you can make me a better team.
And he said they right. We right here for the play-in. Let's make it.
Facts. Like they right there for the play-in, and I feel like if you trade De'Aaron Fox, like you say, let's say you make the play-in. Like, do y'all want Sacramento in the lottery again? Like, is it trying to make the play-in the right step? And I feel like pairing Domantas Sabonis with De'Aaron Fox is the right step in that. And then you bring in Jeremy Lamb, who's over the past couple of years been healthy is giving you 14 points at the minimum on decent 3-point shooters.
Right, and then I mean you still
Justin Holiday. Then Justin Holiday is up in the air because he's unvaccinated, and you got to be vaccinated to play in Sacramento.
Dude,
yeah, but you still got.
He Justin Holiday unvaccinated. He played in Indiana, so I guess we wouldn't know. They don't care about nothing.
But right, you still got Harrison Barnes, who they could flip, and maybe they get somebody that's on more of De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis timeline who helps. Bagley's probably gonna get traded. Rashawn Holmes might get traded, so maybe they're trying to do something to actually move the team in the right direction. And we're just so stuck on this Sacramento that we're not gonna give him credit for it.
And people are kind of just stuck on that. They traded Tyrese, and Tyrese he's a solid player. He may become an all-star. I kind of like his game. I kind of don't because he does shoot good percentages. His percentages are good, but watching him play live, I don't really love his game. If he was like really being game playing for, I don't really love the idea of that. Honestly, that's just my personal opinion. But he does shoot like I think 47 from the field, 40 from 3. He's averaging 14 and about 7 assists a game. I think he fits with Indiana. All the reports were especially from like Wolverhampton was like that they didn't even know that he was available. But I don't really believe that because he's been in trade talks for a while. So to say that team to know that he was available or they've been more aggressive, I don't believe that because they offered him to Philly for Ben Simmons. He's been in a couple different those type packages or whatever. But you just got to look at what both teams are trying to do, and I think Sacramento's trying to make a play in. Harrison is young, but he's not super 21. That's not super young. So you keep Miles Turner. You got Chris Duarte. I think they're gonna move Brogdon, and you kind of because I don't think you're going in a full rebuild with Rick Carlisle as your coach anyway. So I never thought that made sense for real. But they're just gonna kind of reshape the team.
All right, but speaking of that. Of course, I think more people want Indiana to do a true rebuild because they never have before. Like, this is what they do.
Reggie Miller, right?
Right. This is what they do. They go find
Danny Granger. He was a lottery pick.
Yeah, I think he was late lottery pick. So
late lottery picks him and Paul.
Like, they just go find young talent they can trade for, and they put together a decent team, and maybe they're back in the play-in next year. Who knows? But just
they usually trade for young talent. That's how they got Jermaine O'Neal. That's how they got Ron Artest. So they got Jalen Rose.
Yeah.
One part they all drafted was Richard Miller.
Jonathan Bender. Drafted it.
Shout out Jonathan Bender. Injuries helped him now.
Yeah. But is this, I guess, people are looking at it as a good start point for Indiana's. I guess it's not really a rebuild, but a retool. It's already reported they're going to flip Buddy Hield. He's probably going to get bought out.
Oh, damn, they ain't keeping Buddy?
No, they won't keep him, Buddy.
Go ahead and buy him out. He can go to the Lakers. I
was going to ask you that. Of course, that's what.
That worked. If he gets bossed out, he definitely going to the Lakers. If the Lakers don't jump on that, really, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm jumping on. But
it's Tyrese Halliburton.
Obviously, we can jump on that too.
But it's Tyrese Halliburton a good start point for Indiana and their retooling of the team?
I think so because if you like Chris Duarte and you like Halliburton, you know at worst he's 15 and 7. That's what he is right now. That's what he was in Sacramento. So he's a solid player. I just don't think he was unmovable. But as far as a good piece for some winning basketball, I think he could be that for the Pacers. And that's the direction that they're trying to go in.
That's fair. I can give it that.
Yeah, for sure. However, he could play. It's just I wouldn't want him to be heavily game playing for because at the end of the day, he does shoot good percentages. He shoots solid percentages, but I've seen his shot get locked down. I've seen when he can't get those shots up, and I've seen him get taken out of games.
Just like that. But do you expect anybody else to make any moves, especially any of the top teams, Bulls, Heat, Golden State, maybe not Phoenix, Milwaukee? You expect any of those teams to make a move?
I think some of them might play the buyout market unless it's little cool moves that they can make here or there because the Bulls need some interior help. Brooklyn needs shooting. The Bucks need interior help. The Hawks, we looking for some shooting. I saw that the Hawks were talking about. I saw it was like some Dragic talk, but it was for Gallo, and I don't think the Hawks would trade for Gallo.
I seen that was more of a thing, so they can be just the money matchup.
Yeah,
and then buyouts and stuff like that.
The Hawks not getting off Gallo right now. But the Hawks gonna end up being quieter than I thought because when they traded Cam, most of us thought it was gonna be for another move, but it was really just more like addition by subtraction type of thing.
Yeah.
Trying to get some minutes off and more clarity on the
yeah.
roles or whatever. So teams like that, I expect to play the buyout market, but teams that I think need to be doing something that need to be aggressive is for sure, I think Chicago, because you got Zach and he's young, obviously, but their core, it's not like they're just this young core. And I just think you got to take advantage of years when you got an opportunity to get in the finals. And the Bulls have a good team, and they're getting killed by some injuries right now.
Right.
But they still have an opportunity to win in the East because if KD's not there, it's wide open for me. I'm not. I think the Bucks can be beat. Honestly, that's just my opinion. I think Giannis is. I think Giannis when he's having certain games, he's on another level. But I'm just honestly not 100% afraid of the Bucks. Definitely not afraid of Miami. Definitely not afraid of Miami. So the East can be won. Honestly, I think the people you fear the most is KD and Giannis.
Yeah.
But the Bulls should take advantage, and I think the Nuggets need to do something. You were in the conference finals a few years ago. And yeah, the injuries thing happened, but just like using that as an excuse to not get your team better when you got Jokic playing MVP basketball, I think that's what the GM is there for. And if somebody come in and play well, and that doesn't shake with somebody that was playing well before, you just got to get in where you fit in when you got winning. So sacrificing a year, like you already knew, kind of Jamal Murray might not be there for a good amount of time this year. So they should have kind of been trying to address that. The Michael Porter thing was kind of. It had to during the season, so you don't expect that. But Denver got to get better. I think Denver need to get better because they need to be trying to compete in the West because we all thought that the Lakers were going to be dominant this year. And I said in December that I think Phoenix is the best team in basketball. And although I do still think that, I don't think Phoenix is unbeatable.
Right.
Funny enough, even though they look like a well-oiled machine right now. Book is going crazy. Chris Paul double leading the league in assists. 8 inches average double on the low. Monty Williams, I think he's top 5 head coach in the league. So they look like a well-oiled machine, but I just think anybody can be beat in the NBA. That's all I'll say. I don't want to disrespect their team because I think they're the best team in the league, but I don't think nobody's unbeatable in the NBA right now.
There's no such thing. But just speaking of Giannis real quick, he dominated the Lakers last night.
Nah, we don't need to talk about Giannis. We need to talk about Anthony Davis.
I want to talk about the person that dominated. But that we can mix that in there. But Giannis had 44 points, 15 rebounds, 8 assists, 17.
I know he went 17 for 20.
With 17 for 20 from the field. Because I'm trying to remember exactly because he did something that's only him, Will Chamberlain, and Kareem did. Yeah. Which is always the
because it was 17 for 20 from the field, 85%.
Yeah.
With like
40 on 40, 15, and 5. Yeah. Exactly what it was. But Giannis absolutely dominated the Lakers. When you get to this part of the season, and now I know Anthony Davis just got back. LeBron kind of just got. Well, Anthony Davis just kind of got back. LeBron just got back. Melo was out last night. Lakers probably not gonna make any moves at the trade deadline unless it's in the buyout.
Yeah, think buyout market.
What you think? If you Lakers, what you just think coming out this game? Just watching Giannis went bananas last night.
Well, Giannis always seemed to.
He loved playing against Anthony Davis.
And I think he was really like fan his stable. So I just wonder if they didn't win the championship, if he had considered playing for the Lakers because he just seems like he kind of connected with Kobe there and stuff like that. Kobe, but Giannis, he always had those really good games, and Giannis was having one of those nights that Giannis is one of the. I said last year, I gave Giannis respect for winning the finals and finishing with 50 in that last game. Mm-hmm. I officially think he's top 3 in the league for me.
Mm-hmm.
Coming to the year, I probably had LeBron at 3, but I got Giannis at 3.
Who you 2?
Steph's second best player in the NBA. I don't care what struggle he's going through. Second best player.
But he's recently been playing better. Nobody's talking about that.
Nah, that's too easy to talk about. People don't like Steph because you can't be that small and be better than everybody. Steph was second best player in the NBA, and I would say Giannis is 3rd. But he was having one of those nights where like a jump when the jumper is going.
It turned over the face.
Exactly. You had those nights as one of those players.
I like how he had worked on that. Now that is a shot.
That's
like
what
you always said. Though. You've always said that. Though.
That's what took him to the next level, playing in the mid range. You have those nights where everything falling. What I'm disappointed in is just how it just seems like Anthony Davis just doesn't step up to take those challenges. I don't expect LeBron to do it. Shout out to him and what he's doing. 28 points a game at this stage for the consistency. That's what everybody wants you to say. So I had to go ahead and put that out there. But it shouldn't be on LeBron at this point in his career to match Giannis. First of all, Giannis is kind of like Anthony Davis. You want to be a power forward. Giannis is a power forward. He's your direct matchup. And while he's out there going crazy, I'm not even mad that he went crazy because you're not stopping great players. I don't care who the best defender. Name your best defender. I'll show you a great player that can score on him. Because scorers are going to score. I'm just disappointed that he don't match what he's doing. Where's Anthony's 40? Where's his 35 and 15? Even if just the aggressiveness was there. Let's just say he had a bad night, but he was 3 for 19. Sometimes it just don't fall. When you look at it, and I look at all the players that got more shots than Anthony Davis last night, and every night, really. But 22 and 9. I mean,
no Anthony Davis. No, I mean, when you match up one for 40, like
22 and 9, he took 10 shots, and this is what makes you even more angry. He takes 10 shots, but he's 8 for 10. I mean, he's making his shots.
Why only took 10 shots?
I ain't got no more to say.
But no, yeah, you just can't let Giannis dominate like that and not go back at him a little bit. Like that's I don't know. And is Milwaukee getting ready to try to go on a championship run, I guess?
I ended on them, and then we'll talk about the winners. But for the Lakers' sake, where's the urgency for Anthony Davis to demand the ball more? Where's Vogel's urgency to get him the ball? Mm-hmm. And where are the playmakers, LeBron and Westbrook, to say, we're going to play through him tonight? Mm-hmm. They should be playing through him every night, but they got to go to him. But excuse me, to answer your question, I do think Milwaukee's gearing up because everybody's getting healthy now. Mm-hmm. By All-Star break, you can see them starting to kick it in gear. You can all year you mainly worried about the Nets. You mainly worry about the Nets throughout the year, but since KD has went down, the first place spot has been open. So I do think they're trying to kick it in championship gear right now. Send some messages to some people.
I'm on right there saying I want Cleveland get the first round to get the number 1 seed so they can mess up playoff season. I want to see somebody get put out in the first round. That should be a contender.
Because Miami's technically number 1.
Everybody's like a game and a half apart for real. Like it was not that far.
Not that far at all. But
it should be
between 1 and 8. It's not. It's 5.5 games separates 1 and 8.
There's still a lot of basketball left, and I think people are overblowing the standings.
29 games.
I think people are overblowing the standings sometimes.
Yeah, 30 games left. A lot of games. I think the Hawks got 26 games left.
But other than that, you got anything else over there?
I thought I had something else, but I can't think of what it is right now. So, other than that, just as always, appreciate the viewers. Shout out to the Off the Ball Network. We here every Wednesday at 12 o'clock on the Off the Ball Network's Facebook page, the Hoopers YouTube page, and the Hoopers Twitter page. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube, follow the Twitter, subscribe to the YouTube. Just search the Hoopers Pod. Make sure you catch us every Monday on the Nothing But Net channel through the Dash Radio app at 3 o'clock. And if you miss it, it's on the YouTube. That's why you just got to subscribe to the YouTube. Everything's on YouTube. This will be on YouTube if you want to watch it again or if you missed it or whatever. So just go to the YouTube, the Hoopers Pod on YouTube. And anywhere you get your podcast fix, Apple, Google, Spotify, Radio, Pandora, TuneIn, all that type of good stuff.
Catch us tonight at 8 o'clock on Couch Coach Live.
Shout out Couch Coach.
On the NBA All-Star Draft. We're going to talk some Super Bowl.
Bringing the wings.
Bringing the wings. So catch us then. I'm John W.
It's Fresh X.
It's the Hoopers Afternoon Session.
Catch y'all next week.